Good morning, class.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay. So, mag-pray sa ta. Um, Miss, Sir Suharto, pwede ikaw mag-lead sa Muslim prayer. And James Mark Valencia for the Catholic or the Christian prayer. Sir Suharto.
Okay po. Start na ako, ma'am.
Ah,
Let us pray. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin.
so for the Catholic prayer, James Mark Valencia, kindly lead the prayer.
Okay, in the name of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Amen. Lord, thank you for the blessings you have given to us. Sorry for our trespasses, and keep us safe every day and bless us in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Amen.
Good morning again, class. Kumusta naman inyong exam?
Okay lang.
Okay. So today, dili na ko na mo pangutan-on unsa ang atong previous topic since ka-exam naman mo ato. So for today's discussion, we are going to discuss about the first topic for your third grading exam, the desert. So we were going to travel along the desert. So unsa di ay ang desert? What is desert? So desert is the it means desert literally means deserted or the unoccupied and the dry region of the world. So it compasses about 42 million square kilometers of the earth. So some climatologists define dry climate as a climate in which yearly precipitation is less than the potential loss of water by evaporation, since the concept of dryness is relative, and basically it refers to any situation in which a water deficiency exists. So there are we have the desert basic concept. We have the most deserts exhibit highly angular landscape. The mechanical withering dominates, and angular particles of weathered bedrock outcrops, and little soil or vegetation to soften landscape. And we have the softer, more rounded landscape appear where deposition is predominant. The dunes examples dunes, and we have the desert. Rainfall is infrequent, intense, and unreliable. So desert has intense flash flooding and intense erosion and ephemeral streams. So there are four types of deserts. We have the subtropical desert, which is the hot and dry all year round, and we have the coastal desert. It has cool winters and warm summers, and the coastal desert is also known as semi-arid desert, and the cold winter. I no, the cold winter desert is the also known as the semi-arid rain shadow desert, and it has long dry summers and low rainfall in the winter. The last one is we have the desert. It has a climate of cold all year round. Now we have the subtropical desert. So subtropical desert is the hottest desert. So they are found in Asia, Australia, Africa, and North and South America. It is the very hot and dry in the summer and cooler but still dry in the winter. So the air there is so hot and dry in this that desert that sometimes rain evaporates before it even has a chance to hit the ground. So sa subtropical sa sobrang kainit no kay ang rain dito mag-evaporate mag-evaporate siya bisan wala pa niya na kanang wala pa nahulog bitaw then mag-evaporate na siya. It is because subtropical desert is very hot and uh, very dry. And now we go to the second types of desert, the coastal desert. So from the word itself, coastal. So it is found on coast where the land meets the ocean. So the winds that blow over this desert come from across the ocean, but they do not bring rain. So example is the Amib Desert in Africa and the Atacama Desert in Chile are in Chile. So coastal deserts are located on the west coast of continents between 2 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees latitude. Winds of the coast that blow in an easterly pattern and prevents the moisture from moving on to the land. So this that dili di ay ni siya amib, that's namib. Sorry na typo. Now we have the cold winter desert, or the semi-arid desert. So it also known as semi-arid desert. So they have long dry summers and cold winters with low rain or snowfall. So often the climate there it often caused by the rain shadow effect. So the major desert of this type is the unsa ni? Siege brush of brush of Utah and Montana. So they also include the North America, Newfoundland, Greenland, Russia, Europe, and Northern Asia. So the last one is we have the polar desert. So polar desert areas with annual precipitation less than 250 millimeter and a mean temperature during the warmest month of less than 10 degree Celsius. So polar desert, of course, it is found in the Arctic and the Antarctic region. So like warmer desert, they do also get very little precipitation. So polar desert it also consists primarily of gravel, plains, and bedrock. So this region were more common during ice ages, due in large part to cold temperature that encompass most areas of Earth, as well as a lack of precipitation. Uh, sorry. So asa na ganita sa polar desert. So what are the characteristic of a dry desert? So we have the precipitation, evaporation, temperature, dry regions, and desert landforms produced by water. So in precipitation, we have the sorry. In precipitation, we have the low and unpredictable precipitation, and it is the primary characteristic of a dry climate. And the evaporation, another characteristic of a dry climate is that evaporation is often greater than precipitation. So this results in a climate that lacks ground moisture due to the low average rainfall and rapid evaporation uh, of the ground. Now we have the temperatures. So at third common characteristic of dry climates are wide variances in seasonal and daily temperature. So deserts are usually found in the rain shadows of mountain ranges and have hot summers, cool nights, and moderate winters. However, in cold deserts, winter can be extremely frigid. In dry climates, the sun rays are more direct due to the lack of humidity, and this result in extreme daily temperature swings. So deserts high can approach 40 degrees Celsius or 104 Fahrenheit or more, and in some areas winter lows can drop well below freezing. And we have the dry region. What is the characteristic of a dry desert? So arid and semi-arid region together make up 26% of the land area of Earth, and deserts comprise 12% of the land. The great deserts of the world um, are of course found in the Sahara and North Africa. So so um familiar man ta sa Sahara Desert, no? It is the most known desert of the world. And then we have the desert landforms. We have the example of desert landforms produced by water. We have the arroyo. So arroyo is a water carved canyon that is usually dry. And we have the bahada or afan enlarges, eventually coalescing with fans from adjacent canyons to produce an apron of sediment. And we have the alluvial fan. So alluvial fan is a cone of debris at the mouth of canyon. And we have the Inselberg mountain areas that are reduced to a few large bedrock knobs called Inselberg. So it projects above the sediment filled basin. And we have the another desert landform is the playa. So playa is um we can see playa in example ana kay 'di ba every summer kay maimti ang mga creek. So ang land didto, ang soil didto kay murag na ay mga crack. It is because kuan. It is because daan siya nga na ay tubig. So playa on the rare occasion of abundant rainfall, streams may flow across the alluvial fan to the center of the basin, converting the basin floor into a shallow lake. Sumura siya shallow lake. And then next we have the pediment. So pediment is it is a very gently sloping inclined bedrock surface. So it typically slopes down from the base of a steeper retreating desert cliff or escarpment, but may continue to exist after the mountain has eroded away that is caused by erosion. So, mauna ang example sa pediment. So, in the desert, what do you think, what types of erosion usually happens in the desert?
Wind, ma'am.
Yes, wind erosion. So, in the desert, moving air like of course moving water is turbulent, unable to pick up loose debris and transport it to other location. Just as in a stream, the velocity of wind increases with height above the surface. Also, like a stream, wind transport fine particles in suspension, while heavier ones are carried as bedload. However, the transport of sediment by wind differs from that of running water in two significant ways. First, wind's lower density compared to water renders it less capable of picking up and transporting coarse material. Second, because wind is not confined to channels, it can spread sediment over large areas as well as high into the atmosphere. So, the type of wind are we have the Julian process. The physics of wind generated landform is being studied using sun grains in wind tunnels. So now we have the different types of Julian process. We have the Julian erosion. So it is much less effective than fluvial. So what is fluvial erosion? Kinsay nakabalo be? From the previous discussion. Walay nakabalo. So fluvial erosion is the detachment of material of the river bed and the size. So in Julian erosion, we have the deflation. This is the movement of small particles. So the removal by wind of loose sand, silt, and clay particles. So as times goes by, large, excuse me. So sa deflation, as times goes by, larger pebbles concentrate at the surface as sand. The silt and clay particles are removed. So, as time goes by na po, large pebbles fit tightly as desert uh, pavement. So, in abrasion, so unsa gani lang si abrasion? So, walay nakabalo. So, abrasion is the policies and edges exposed surfaces or the from your previous discussion is abrasion is the collision of sediments to another rock or sediments. Now we have the other types of Julian process, the Julian transportation. So in Julian transportation, it moves nothing bigger than the sun. So example of that is the dust storms and the sunstorms. So what is the difference between dust storms and the sunstorms? So dust storms can extend thousands of feet up. So sunstorms only very near the surface. And the last types of Julian process is we have the Julian deposition. Example of that is the dunes. So dunes form and shift where winds and terrain combine to slow the winds or block the movement of dunes. Sand dunes form when moving air slows down on the downwind side of an obstacle. The sun grain drops out and form a mound that becomes a dune. Dunes migrate by erosion of sand by wind on the gentle upwind slope and deposition and sliding on the slip face. And those are cross bedded deposits. So mauni ang example sa deflation. Sa deflation kay i-remove niya ang mga small particles hantod sa ang mabilin kay ang mga large sediments or mga dagko nga rocks. And then we have the second picture is the example of abrasion, wind abrasion. Two rocks being collided to another rock. Excuse me. Sorry for that. So we have the desert erosional landforms. Example, we have the toadstools, deflation hollow, ventifax, and the yardangs. And we have the lee dunes, star dunes, longitudinal dunes, transfer dunes, and the Barchan dunes and parabolic dunes. So that's all. Thank you. So, do you have any question? Hello, class. Do you have any question?
No, ma'am.
So, on your asynchronous group activity, you are going to explore the world's desert on your own in Google Earth. So it is advised that you collaborate in your group to finish on time. Identify 6 feature landscape structure or scenes that you learn to recognize in the discussion. So take a screenshot of the site and save it in this document. So, i-post ra ang inyong group activity on your Discord channel. So you can now go to your Discord channel to do your task. So kung wala na mo ipangutana, you may now go.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, teachers.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye,
Thank you, teachers.
first. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.